Doc programs from Doc
window is in classic window is in
Doc
Start menu, go to
Internet Security System. Step 1. How to configure a firewall setup on a Mac. Properly configuring firewall settings will help enhance your computer's operation while keeping it safe for web surfing. You will need a Mac OS 10.4 or 10.5 and an Internet Security System. Step 1. Open System Preferences and click Sharing in 10.4. In 10.5, click Security. Click on the Firewall tab. Step 2. In 10.5, configure the firewall by either setting access for specific services and applications, allowing only essential services, or allowing all incoming connections. Never allow exceptions for programs you don't recognize. When you must allow exceptions, remove them as soon as you can continue searching without them. Step 3. In 10.4, click Start. To add exceptions, check the boxes for the services you'd like to enable under the Services and Firewall tabs. Step 4. Verify your settings by closing System Preferences, then reopening it and clicking either the Security or Sharing icon. Did you know? The Chinese government's attempt to block its citizens from seeing certain websites has been nicknamed the Great Firewall of China.
So in this video I'm going to be taking you through the Windows Firewall configuration, and to start we're going to click on the Start menu, go to Control Panel, and then go to Administrative Tools and click on Local Security Policy. We're going to maximize this and we're going to go over to the Windows Firewall and Advanced Security Settings. We're just going to expand that a little bit. We're going to click here. Local group, and you can see here that Windows Firewall state has not been configured for any of them, domain profile, private profile, or public profiles. So we're going to click on Windows Firewall properties here, and we're going to set the firewall state to on, recommended, and the inbound connections to blocked, and the outbound connections to allow by default. We're also going to click on customize, and we're going to choose to display a notification. We're not going to allow unicast response because, as I mentioned in my other videos, this is the only computer on the network. We're going to apply local firewall rules as our default and local connection security rules as our default and click OK. Then we're going to go down to logging and we're going to uncheck the not configured so that we can log our firewalls. We're not going to log our drop packets because otherwise our log files would get really big. And we're going to not log our successful connections because we know they're secure. And now you can see that the domain profile, private profile, and public profile are configured. So the next thing we need to do is select our inbound rules, and we're going to create our inbound rules. A lot of these you might recognize from Windows 7 Services video that we've already gone through. And this is simply just a method of ensuring connections. So we're just going to go through and we're going to set up each one of these.
Hi, it's Johnson. I'm gonna teach you how to secure your wireless router. First, you should check.
Good afternoon friends. Today I will show you how to configure a newly bought router. First of all, I will connect my router through my Wi-Fi. I'll click on connect and I have to enter the key which is given inside, which is given below the router. There will be a sticker or you will get a manual in which there will be a password, default password. So I have my default password. Let me enter it. Okay, next, verifying and connecting, and it is connected. Now I will have to check its home page. I'll click on run cmd command prompt and I have to check its IP and FIG by using this command ipconfig. Okay, this is my default gateway. This is the IP of my router. Okay, let's check it. So I will open my browser and put that IP address, mark, and click on enter to copy, control V and enter. Yes, this is my router's IP. So I have my default page. I'll enter the password. The default username and password is admin. um, it may be changed depending on your device company. Now I have to change the password of my username and password of my router so that no one can access it. No one no one without actually I am little bit weak in English, so I have to change the password, username and password. So first of all I will put old username admin, that is admin, and old password is admin2. Now I have to create a new name. So I will create my new name, ZAMER underscore ZONE, any name you want, you like. So it's time for new password.
Hi, it's Johnson. I'm gonna teach you and the user, and then click apply. Change the default SSID to something different, and you should disable SSID broadcast. So for security, you should set it to WPA or WPA2 and make a password that's hard to guess. Yeah. So you should also adjust your log settings to make sure attack is on. And you should check your statistics. So you should make sure NAT is on, NAT. Yeah, it's like a firewall. So you could use MAC filtering to deny computers without a MAC address that's specified from accessing your network. You got to use certain domains with or URL blocking by adding keywords.
Work. In this video, we're going to take a look at the advanced networking features and options that are built into Google Wi-Fi. In order to access Google Wi-Fi's advanced settings, we need to open the Google Wi-Fi app. The first screen that we will see is the status screen, which will show us basic information about our mesh network. Let's select Shortcuts and Settings. From within the Settings section, we need to choose Network and General to see the advanced network settings for Google Wi-Fi. The first option relates to the wireless network and is labelled by the wireless access point name you assigned the wireless network when you first configured Google Wi-Fi. Mine is called My Doodad's Wi-Fi. Let's take a look at these settings. As you can see, there are not many options available in this section. We have an option to reveal the wireless password for this wireless access point. There is an option to share the wireless password, which allows you to share the password via email or text. And we have an edit button, which allows us to make changes to either the wireless access point's name or the wireless access point password. Let's return to settings. Next, we have some options that allow us to make changes to the wireless nodes that we have already configured and are using as part of our mesh network. We can check that the wireless nodes are up to date with the latest firmware. We have an option to restart the network if we're experiencing problems with our wireless network. And we have an option to do a complete factory reset on all of the nodes that make up our mesh network. We then have the options for looking at the network settings for each node that makes up our mesh network. Let's have a look at the family room node. First, we have an option to adjust the indicator light built into the family room node. Next, we have the option to restart just the family room node. You can see the option Remove Device is grayed out. This is because the node is the primary node for the mesh network.
In other words, this is the Google Wi-Fi node connected directly to the broadband modem, so factory resetting this node would break the connection to the other nodes in the mesh network. However, you will find this option is enabled for the other nodes that make up the mesh network. In the details section, we have information about this node, its status, the wide area network IP address the node is connected to, the local area IP address the node is using, the node model number, and finally how the node is connected. The last option in Wi-Fi settings is to add a Wi-Fi point to the mesh network. As we've already looked at this option in another video, we will return to Settings. As the name suggests, advanced networking allows us to adjust some of the more advanced network settings for our wireless network. However, one of the major sticking points for me is the lack of support for using your own DHCP range. DNS, or Domain Naming Service, allows us to change the DNS settings for our wireless network. As you can see, DNS is set to automatically use Google's DNS servers. However, if you would prefer, you can use either your internet service provider's DNS servers, or you can use a custom DNS server such as OpenDNS. I'm going to leave the defaults enabled for now. Next up, we have WAN, or Wide Area Network settings. The first option shows us the WAN IP address that you are using to connect to the internet. Then under WAN settings we have three options: DHCP, static, and PPPoE. However, as we've already set up Google Wi-Fi to use PPPoE, the ability to edit this setting has been disabled. For anyone that's familiar with router configurations, you may have noticed that there is no option to manage your DHCP settings. This means that you can only use the 192.168.68 IP range in your Google Wi-Fi network. So for anyone wishing to configure their DHCP subnet in a specific way, this could be a problem. As Google Wi-Fi will automatically assign an IP address in the 192.168.68 range, any device that you connect to your mesh network will use something called a dynamic IP address, IP reservations. However, as I've connected a printer to Google Wi-Fi, I need to reserve the IP address that the printer is address that we wish to reserve for the printer to use. At the moment, I only have the settings are saved, and we can select Done. Shown a list of all the devices which have a reserved IP address. Here you can see the HP printer we just added. In this example, the primary node is in NAT mode, while the secondary node swaps you over to IP6, then this is the place where you can enable the protocol. Details, as the name suggests, allows you to contact Google for technical support for your Google Wi-Fi network. You can contact Wi-Fi Care, review terms of services, privacy policies and licenses, and you can see usage stats. Finally, we have email notifications, which simply allows us to choose if we wish to receive emails from Google. I would recommend that you disable announcements and offers, but leave the updates about your Google Wi-Fi enabled, as it will send you tips and analytics about your network. So to recap, we've taken a look at the advanced settings within Google Wi-Fi, and we've identified a potential issue for anyone wishing to use their own DHCP subnet range within a Google Wi-Fi mesh network.